Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Conquering Stress podcast. I'm Dr. Bill Janeshak, and I'm happy to be here. Today's episode is going to be how to be a successful patient and get the results you want. I've had a couple patients in the last few weeks that really stood out in my mind, and I'm like, I wish I could tell everybody. I'm like, well, hey, I have a podcast. I can tell people this. So if you're going through something, you're going to see a doctor. It doesn't matter whether it's chiropractor, it's your medical doctor, podiatrist, dentist, or whatever. If somebody that's dealing with your health care, massage therapist, acupuncturists, whatever, physical, you're a personal trainer, these will still apply to you as you're coming by. So it would behoove you to pay attention. So I'm going to try to go through this really quick and just hit the highlights and get things going. So the first thing that we want to understand is when you're going to a doctor and what do you want? I always end every patient interaction on new patients over there. I said, what do you want? And they go, well, dude, I was just telling you for like the last, 45 minutes, everything that I've done. And people come in, headache, neck pain, back pain, gut issues, brain stuff, stress, anxiety. And I said, yeah, but if all this went away and I just threw pixie dust on you, what would you want to happen in your life that this is impeding? Then we can actually get down to what you want. And it's good for me to know, obviously, because then I can create a treatment plan that affects you specifically. But I found that it's really good because more often than not, when patients come back, they go, you know what? Now that you made me think about it, my headaches are really getting in the way of, me playing with my kids. I play with them. I'm not really engaged. I used to do X, Y, and Z, and and that it's my hobby. I can't get on the computer. I can't work as much as I want to, and I can't get I'm not as effective at work. So it really gets you both thinking about what do you really want? Why are you here? Because, and I've said this a lot, if we get down to the core, most of the things, the reason that people go to the doctor is because of the unknown or fear. It's like, well, I've got this thing or this condition or this rash or something that I don't know what it is, and I don't know, is this dangerous? It's a natural part of human behavior to want to get rid of the fear and the unknown, but know why you're there. What you really want. So I really want to. Uh, I want to run a triathlon, and I can't do it in this condition because X, Y, and Z. I want to create the world's biggest pizza, and I can't roll out dough into as wide as a football field that I need to. So whatever. And healthcare should be personal. This is one of the biggest problems with algorithm healthcare. HMO style stuff where you just kind of run through the algorithm. We see that a lot in injury networks or something. You just kind of go through the thing and you either come out fixed or not, but either way, you did the thing. But true healthcare, personal healthcare, something that you want to do needs to be personal. So make it personal about you, because this is the time when the doctors need to focus on you and your needs, not just their prescriptions or their treatments or whatever. Let's figure it out and let's get it done. One of the biggest things you have to do once you know what you want, talk to the doctor and figure out, are you having an event or do you have a condition? And a lot of people come into my office and they go, oh, well, I get this thing. Oh, it just happens. And I get headaches. Oh, I only get them like once a week. I get normal headaches. Um, and well, my back always goes out this way. Whenever people use like every time, always, again, more than likely, if you're having the same problem over and over and it gets better and comes back, so you probably have a condition. And especially when you go to a holistic doctor like myself, because we're looking at everything. I'm looking, well, how are you? How do you move? How do you think? How's the heart? How's the gut? How's the bowels? How's the ears? How we want to see everything you do. What hobbies are you doing? What sports do you play? What are your interests? Those things are going in because they all add up and they get into why you got what you got. And some people are really thankful because they go, oh my gosh, this is really, I've been to doctor after doctor and they never put it all together. Boom, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And sometimes, and it's not as fun, you get people that go, I do not have that. I don't have a thing. It just goes out. That's just the way it is. It's always gone out. It goes out, it goes out, it goes out. And you can't explain it to them. They're, they they just want this episode to go away, and if the pain or the itch or the scratch or the bleeding or whatever it is stops in that moment, then they're done. And it's just the way they are because for whatever reason they have. Um, but know the difference between what you got, because if you're one of those people, if you're the type of person that I want to get better. I don't like this looming over, or I don't like not being able to trust my body. I don't like to do this. I want to get this fixed because I have a lot of stuff I want to do. I have things that I have dreams and aspirations, and I can't do it in this meat suit because it's not going to take me there. Help me figure out what it is. Key word is help me figure out what it is. Doctors should be Sherpas, not dictators. Um, Go to the doctor for their experience, their wisdom, their their caring. And most doctors uh, that have been around a little while, we do this because we love it. I love to put the pieces together and help people out, and it's there's nothing more rewarding than watching somebody that just couldn't get through the day pretty soon skipping out the door and they're living the best lives possible. That's why we do what we do. If you have one of those 3 minute docs that just, you know, X, Y, it's just this, just find another doctor. But know the difference between, know what you're actually dealing with in real life. Don't make it scarier than it is, but don't make it more benign than it is. And the doctor should help you figure that out. And even if you figure that out, you ask yourself honestly with yourself, am I in the place right now that I'm ready to fix this? Either with time, with finances, with just commitment to change. A lot of times, you know, if you're doing something that's not working for you, you're going to need to change. Sometimes you don't know what it is. Sometimes you know what it is, you just don't want to do it. But ask yourself, do I really want this fixed? And if not, or do I just want this patch? And let the doctor know. Say, you know, I realize that this is right here, but right now I'm 10 minutes out from a flight that I have to go to, and I'm going to be in Guam for 3 months. I had a little girl. She was a gymnast, and she was 10 years old or something, and she hurt her foot. And as a consequence, I told her, I said, well, you got a tournament coming up, but I really don't think you should make it because you can injure this. And we had a discussion about it was right around when the Super Bowl was. And I said, you know, if this was a one game and you were going to have 6 months off, you could tape it up and I'd tell you to be careful, you got to do this. And I'd let you know that, you know, the chances are if you injure it, that it's going to get much, much worse. But I was an athlete. I know what it's like. We have things in life. Sometimes we got to toughen up buttercup and put on our big boy panties and just go forward with it. And that's it. But if you're looking at a season or something and you take a little time off and you do that to heal so you can come back bigger and stronger and faster and better than you could rather than just muddling around in mediocrity at best, you take a step back, heal up, and go forward, just like a professional athlete would do. They take time off. As soon as they're out of pain, they go into rehab. They rehab that up until they are 1,000% better so that they can give 100%. You let everybody know which way you can go, the risks, the benefits of both things, and then make a decision, make a real decision. And again, let the doctor know because you can work within parameters. You say, I can get you X better by this time, or if you do X, Y, and Z, you can do this. And if you don't do this, you're going to, you know, whatever the consequences, but know what's going on with that. And with the consequences, Know them short term, know them long term. I've recently had a friend that had a long-term illness, and it kept going. And it was when you have a long-term condition, you can ignore it, you can kind of waddle around with it for a little while, but because it's a condition, it has a path, and it has a known path, and there's certain times you have interventions, and the longer you let something go, the more damage it does as you're going along. So, for instance, a good example is diabetes. So, diabetes, there's type 1, and people are born with that, with the inability to produce insulin or enough insulin that they need help with that. We usually know these very early on in life, and that's been like that for a long time. It used to be a very rare condition, but it is not so rare now. Then there's the second portion that's just blown up over the last few decades in type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is where your lifestyle, you eat too much stuff, you have genetic issues, you don't exercise, you don't take care of yourself, you let yourself go, you're stressed, you don't sleep, it just goes on and on. It's lifestyle driven, and you end up with type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can be reversed. Uh, it's simple but not easy, but it you can do it. And the body has an amazing capacity to heal when given the right environment, just like it has an amazing capacity to break down when it's in the wrong environment. So if you have type 2 diabetes and you don't take care of yourself, your body's breaking down, it's not doing this, you're going to get these other consequences, you're going to get the insulin resistance, and pretty soon you'll create an autoimmunity where the cells that make insulin no longer work, and you move towards type 1. So you've graduated, if you want to call that, and they call that type 1.5 diabetes. So it's self-induced type 1 diabetes. And this can take years, it can take a decade, it all depends. Um, and then if you have that long enough and that's not controlled, you have all the precursors over that, you end up, it breaks the blood-brain barrier, starts getting into the brain, starts affecting the brain, uh, just like other neuropathies that where the high sugar and everything kind of eats away at the cell insulin, and you can get neuropathy. Well, that breaks down into the brain, and you can start to pick up neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and ALS and all these other things that will go on. It's a clear path. It's not a surprise. And if someone stays on this path long enough, you just watch them. You say, "Oh, I can see that you're tired. You have brain fog. Oh, a little blurry vision after you eat meals, and you can't do this." Men, their downstairs will stop working. You'll start to have digestive issues, get high blood pressure, you get high triglycerides. This will get off. You're going to have heart palpitations. You're going to get tired. You're not going to be able to exercise. You'll pick up some neuropathy. You'll start going. It just goes on and on and on and on. It's just like taking a map and say, I'm going to drive from Orange County through LA, and then I'm going to go over, I'll hit Santa Barbara, and I'll drive for a while, and I'll just keep going until I get to Frisco, then I'll go back to Sacramento. It's a map. And if you stay on that road, you're going to get what you get. So there's always consequences of what your action is. Well, on the same point is if you start there and you say, "Oh, hell no, I ain't going to get any of that stuff. I, dear Father, forgive me of my sins, for I would do, what do I do to get to get better? Oh, well, we can do this and you can start exercising more. I know that you're tight here. We've noticed from your x-rays, this is that. We can fix this, open up the nerve flow. We're going to feed you this. We're going to detox you that. We're going to make sure you get your sleep. Look at your foundations of health, getting in the sunshine, getting some movement, get everything else going. Start breathing better, sleeping better. You start turning yourself around. You start building muscle. You start getting more endurance going on. You start feeling better about yourself. You start looking better. You start looking younger. You start feeling younger and acting younger and even more immature um, than you've done before. And that is also a map. It's neither one are accidents. You just recognize where you're at. And they're both consequences on the choices that you make and the commitments that you make with yourself. Those are just a couple good things that you can do. You're going to know what you want. You're going to go out and you're going to figure out, am I having an event or am I having a condition? And am I really ready to fix it, or do I just need to patch it? Knowing full, and a lot of people say, "Well, I just for right now I understand," and they get in the habit, and sometimes people get spoiled because they get really good results that lasted a long time early on, and then it kind of goes away, and they go, well, I don't know what you did wrong, but it's always done, came back after this, and I can't get rid of it this time. It's part of the condition, and you're going to know your consequences. Now, the idea with this is your doctor should be your teammate. You guys should be co-creating whatever your outcome is and having agreed upon with that. I've had patients say, yes, they tell me everything that they think I want to know. And I said, well, we can patch this, we can fix this. What do you want to do? Oh, yeah, definitely. We got to fix this because I'd be crazy not to. And I said, all right, well, here's the plan. This is what we're going to do with your adjustments. This is how we're going to affect the nervous system. Here's some dietary recommendations that I'm going to make. We can go X, Y, and Z. And based on this, we'll run this blood test. We'll figure this out. In 3 months, we'll redo this. And maybe there's some stress relieving techniques that we can do that I'd want you to do at home. And here's an exercise plan. And here's a couple of referrals to people that can help you, massage therapists, personal trainers, a Sherpa or whatever it is. We create the plan. And I'll have them come back, and then I'll go to my front office. I say, hey, well, I'm missing, Joe the plumber. So, oh, well, yeah, he said he couldn't do this, and that. I go, no, he didn't. I just talked to him. He goes, well, when he came up here, he said he changed his mind. If you have a fear of talking to your doctor openly and honestly, then really check in with yourself because you're on the same team. When I was playing baseball, yeah, coach, yeah, I'll do whatever you say, and I do exactly the opposite, it's not a team player, and we're not going to win. We're not going to win as a team. So, definitely communicate. Say, I can't do this because it's just I'm in Texas this week, and then from here I don't get up until 5 in the whatever it is. There's arrangements that you can make, and there's things that you can maybe they're not optimum at the time, but they're a path. So just communicate, open communication with that. Hey, I got X, Y, and Z after your last adjustment or after that supplement, or this diet's doing this, or when I exercise, this happens. And it's very important. I'm going to talk to all you muggles out there that aren't doctors. It's going to be very important for you to communicate that because there's a lot of things that go on with your body that are signs and symptoms. So anything that you say and you come back to the doctor, that could be very diagnostic to your condition. It would be a good example. When I ask people, I said most of the time, if the adjustments go off, they're great, they're easy. Sometimes after a couple of adjustments, I don't see a patient and they get very sick. They go, oh, I got the worst flu that I ever had. And I don't know what happened. I just couldn't do this. And oh, this is terrible. And what happens a lot of times when we start adjusting the spine and taking the pressure off the nerve of the subluxation where the vertebrae start pinching the nerve, it starts to affect that portion and it starts working better like it's supposed to, and it's starting to purge things out of your body. And sometimes this is uh, gets like sick because your liver starts pushing things out, and those things get in your body, and your body wants to get them out. So there's two major ways: one through the mouth and one through not the mouth, uh, and sweating and vomiting and things like that. And in that case, you're actually getting better. And when after adjusting people and they get a bad flu, they come back and they feel better than they have in a long time. We've hit one layer of the condition that we've been treating. So that's a good sign, and I can reassure them from that. What happens a lot of times after a first adjustment, and I say, all right, go home, and I come back and I always ask the people, well, how was it after the adjustment when you got home? And they'll say, oh my God, I just went home and I fell asleep. Or they'll bowel movements are something that happens very regularly. If you haven't been adjusted ever or in a while, by opening up the nerves to that, people will have bowel movement. And I'll say, oh, well, well, I just ask because sometimes, you'll get better sleep, or you have more energy or less energy, or bowel movement will come up, or they'll go, really? Oh my God. Oh, I thought I went home last night and I thought I was going to have a baby. Oh, oh, that makes so much sense. It tells me that the adjustment that we were doing currently was affecting the area that we want, but it had to be communicated on. And sometimes it's like, hey, that adjustment that you did, I was really uncomfortable there. Oh, okay, well, let me try this one. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, but if you just kind of toughen it up, buttercup, and you go, oh, this doesn't work, or that doesn't move either way. So always have an open communication, because remember, you guys are on the same team. Um, One of the things that you have to do is once you're there, you've came to an expert, and you've came to somebody that knows what they're talking about, has expertise in the area that you want, but or um, and you're an expert in you. How are you feeling? What are you doing? What works best with this? Are you sensitive to some things? Uh, and then the doctor will come in and say, this is what we're looking at, and this is the way that we're going to go. Let me work with that. And get involved in your care. Um, Sometimes people will come in and they say, well, just fix me. Just, I don't want to have, I don't want to play in this game. Just I'll come, you do your thing, and I better get better. And while that can have some benefits to it, the biggest benefit that you're going to have is going to be when you're involved in the game. When it's Pearson's law. Pearson's law is that which is recorded and uh, and measured will increase. That which is recorded and reported will increase exponentially. What that means is that if you're focused on that thing, and you don't have to become an expert on it, but we're talking about you. So if you go in and you start working on something, ask some questions. So why were you adjusting this way? And what's the low back have to do with my ankle? And what's the low back have to do with my TMJ? What does the neck have to do with my stomach? And ask these questions. You're going to learn a little bit more. You're going to kind of be aware of the things that you're doing. It's little minute changes just to have an awareness. Again, you don't have to be an expert on it. You don't have to go get a PhD in it, but get involved. Ask some questions. Say, is there anything else that I can do to help? Or is there something that I'm doing that might deter from what you're doing or what we're trying to do together? But commit and get involved. And be willing to change. So if you've been doing something for a while and it's kind of part of your habit and your routine, and something comes up and it's something that needs changing, like stop eating gluten. You have a sensitivity, if not an allergy to it, and it's creating this chaos in your body. But I really love bread, and I just can't. Um, then we're kind of running on a treadmill. We'll take, 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, and eventually you'll end up in the same condition because, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So be willing to do that. And we understand that change is difficult sometimes. Ask for help. There's plenty of ways to get rid of, you know, challenges that you have for it because a lot of time it's habits. And habits are a mindset issue, and they're a way that you frame things in your mind of if I do X, Y, and Z, um, then this is just the pattern. You don't have to think about it anymore. And we have techniques. I have techniques like that where like gluten again, for instance, and they'll say, but I just really love bread. And most of the time when you're addicted to a food, and it can be, your Ben and Jerry's, it can be your fresh bread, it can be whatever. Usually that is a food that you're sensitive to. And there's techniques on getting rid of that because I always ask the people, I said, well, if you hated it, would you do that? And they go, well, no, because if you hate something, there's no reason, there's no willpower involved, there's no want to, there's no loss that you feel. And there's very simple techniques that they don't take very long, less than a half hour to get over, where we can take your mindset to go back over and rather than just craving uh, bread, we can get you to think it's disgusting. And if you think something's disgusting, it's not even on the table anymore. Um, and there's lots of things that you can do, but that comes with communication with your doctor, and they also have to know what's going on, but they should also maybe have a referral to somebody that does that for you. But all these come together. And lastly is be realistic. I've had patients come in. I've had this for 30 years and I've always gone this and my back goes out and we do our thing and I build up a sweat, we work on, we get a really good adjustment. I see some movement, I'm like, oh, that's really good. And they stand up straighter than they ever had and they move around and they go, oh, no, it's still here. Dang, this didn't work. 30 years and you thought that it was going to be gone in one adjustment and the world was just going to come down with sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. And you got to be realistic. All conditions will take time to resolve, and that's with a consistent new input, an adaptation period, and that consistency of going and time in order to do that. New input, new output, consistency, repeated until that becomes your new habit. And if you get those done, you'll be a successful patient. But again, it's not just at our office. You can use the same criteria wherever you're going to get a service. Is what do you want? Is this something? Is this a big deal? Is this a small deal? Do I want to patch it? Do I want to fix it? What are the consequences if I do? What are the consequences if I don't? Tell me what's going on. Let me communicate. Let me tell you everything else that happened with that. If you're going through that, okay, yeah, I'm going to commit to patching it this time. So this is what it is. So I don't expect this, but if I'm going to patch it, this is going to get me through the day. I'm good. No, no, no. I'm on board. This is the time that the Phoenix has risen. I'm coming back for my final comeback, and I'm coming back. I'm glowing up this year. And I'm doing everything because I'm going to be the best version of myself. I got one life to live on this earth, and I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to go through it mediocrity. Bam, I'm there. I'm committed. I'm on board. Let me know what I can do. Let me know how I can do. And I've been reading up on this. I've been watching YouTube videos. Just reiterating this in my mind because I'm all in. And I'm going to be realistic. I'm giving this 4 months, 6 months, a year and a half. I've had patients for a couple of years. working on the same thing. And when they're there that long, they're getting results. And that's about it. I'm going to give you one bonus too. And this one's a little tricky one. Avoid early labels. Sometimes well-meaning doctors and well-meaning patients will come in and say, well, I would get better, but I have, hmm. And I get, well, I went to the doctor and he said, I have arthritis. That's why my back hurts all the time. And you just can't do anything about it. Well, the truth is arthritis isn't the cause of the problem, it's the result of the problem. And if you're told and believe, and there's no reason not to, because you're going to an expert, that it's normal that you can't do anything. Why would you even look? Be open to getting a couple of, if you get a label, I'm ADHD, I have arthritis, I have incurable Crohn's disease, I just have, it's just genetic. That go look around and go look around in different venues. Go to the best doctors that you can. You go to your MD, you can go to your chiropractor, go to a hippie practitioner that, throws out, wonderful prayer, go to energy workers, go there. Really, if it's going to be you and if this is a label that they're going to just put on you for the rest of your life, you should spend the rest of your life looking around and at least being curious and investigating different things that you've had. And I've had lots of patients over the years that have been told that they just couldn't get better because it's just the way it is. In reality, it was very simple fix, and within you know sometimes just a couple weeks, they're new people. Sometimes it's longer, and sometimes they don't get better, but at least, well, they don't get resolved, but they do improve, and they get a chance to get their their confidence back. Uh, but we're living in a time that there's more research coming at us at all time. That there is no reason to not stay engaged because something new is coming down that pike all the time. Just a few years ago, stem cells weren't even around. Now we have peptides doing crazy things. We have AIs. Now we're doing DNA snippets on that. And the next the next chapter in healthcare with quantum biology coming up, remember you heard that here first, is it's going to be amazing. The prerequisite to getting involved to optimum health and living very, very well and very, very youthful into, you know, 90s, centurions, beyond, is very, very likely. But the prerequisite is that you do all the basics. Make sure that you're sleeping and you're eating and you're breathing, you're drinking water and you're moving around and you're getting some sunshine. You're eliminating the things that you need to eliminate. You're keeping stress down to a minimal, and go out and get it. And at the very same time, we have all this opportunity. We see this country just killing itself with lifestyle changes simply because they don't have time. It costs too much. Insurance wouldn't cover it. This is your life. It's not your insurance's life. I understand finances can get crazy, but basics are free. And if you have a condition and you need to get over it, if you want to be around very, very long time, um, go for it. And it's not me to make the decision for you because it's your life. But if you really want to go full bore and see how far this meat suit that we are in can take you, go in and do it. Ask the questions, get involved. It's amazing, and it's a fun journey as well. So I'm all for that. So those are the things that you can do to be a successful patient and get the results that you want. And I wanted to pop this out to you and get it going because it was just timely. This had just been on my mind, and I'm like, I just want people to know this coming in. So I want you to, if you know somebody's been dealing with somebody, click this, like, subscribe, share this with them, let this out. Um, I make these videos for the communications of my patients and the friends and the people in the community. You notice that I'm not competing with Joe Rogan. So I'm doing this for you. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to hear about. But this is Dr. Bill Janeshak on the Conquering Stress podcast, and I will catch you next time.